Welcome to the Systems for Dentists training video. My name's David, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to use the Accounts Full and Accounts Basic sections within SFD. Now before we look into those sections, it's important to know where that money is generated to use the accounts. When a patient attends the practice, we will load up their record and we'll take the payment via the account screen. When I load up their profile, I can see their balance, and via the scales I can go into their patient accounts. On here I can see their invoice, which has been generated from the surgery. It shows me the value and the user who set that. I can go to payment or create a plan. Now when recording the payment, I can select which date, a till, and which nominal we're going to be paying into. Now for this patient, we're taking the full balance owed and it's on the credit. Patient's going to be at 0 as a result, and they haven't requested a receipt, so we can select OK. That then balances the patient's record, but we can also check our dashboard to see the totals for that day. So by going to my additional options on the main menu, I can select dashboard, and here we'll see a list of all transactions for the current day. I have my calendar so I can go back through previous days. I've got the print and export buttons available also, and I'm currently looking at the payments. Now below we've got a list of all the transactions for today, showing me by nominal, which patients, and the values of the payments that have been made. Now above that we've got the totals per nominal. So we have our till and our credit card deposit. We have the totals for each and then the total combined. This is the money that we can then use from the Accounts Basic and Full section. Now to access the Accounts Basic, we select the tooth in the top left hand corner and select Accounts Basic. Now within Accounts Basic we have the Nominal section. From in there we've got the accounts. This is where we can create new nominals or edit the existing ones. By selecting new, I can provide details such as the name, a type, and a category. We can also assign a memo to a nominal as well. To edit an existing one, we simply select and click Edit. Again, we can provide those details and click Save. Now the next option within the nominal is the tills. You can create multiple tills on SFD. Originally, it will start with a default, but by selecting new, I can provide a new till name. This can be done for multiple purposes such as dentists or in some cases schemes. And when we've set up the tills, it means that when we are applying a payment to a patient's record, we have the option of selecting which till the money is going to go into at the top. We've then got the bank accounts. Now within the bank account we can set up any new bank accounts. By selecting new, I can provide the details, again name, type and category, but then I can also add the account details such as the name, number and the sort code. We've got the address and we've got the memo tab as well. Now to edit a bank, we just select it. We can double click and adjust the details on screen. We then have payment. Now this is to record that we are making a bank payment. We can select where the money is going to go from, the cash account, and for which nominal. We just select the nominal, we can provide a reference, we add in the net value, and we can select a tax rate. Below, in details, is a section where I can add in any freehand details of this transaction. When I OK, that'll then update it on our accounts. Now receipt next to it, that is to record a payment coming to us. So we can record which account it's going to go to and which nominal it's going to come from. Again, we can provide the reference, the value by a net, and then provide any details. Now the option next to it is our transfer. The transfer allows me to move money from one bank account to another. I can select where it's coming from, such as the bank account, and we're going to move it to the building society account. Again, providing a reference, a date, and an amount, as well as any additional details if we need to. Now, supplier payment is also available from within the supplier section, so we'll look at it in more depth there. The next option along is the petty cash, where you can select where the money's coming from, whether it's the cash account or your till, and to which nominal it's going to. Again, we can provide the value and the details to explain what it's been used for. Now, payment plans links to the report for our payments that are set up on a plan for a patient. On here we can see the active ones for Shannon, and we can also reconcile the previous payments made by Shannon. By selecting reconcile, it's adding that to the system. You can also, if it has, select failed. What it's showing me on the active is that Shannon has a payment that is due on the 1st of November for that value. The next section within Accounts Basic is the suppliers. Now, accounts is all the suppliers on the system. We can set up new contacts, whether it's an organization or a person, and then provide the details for that contact. Within the contact setup, we can say whether they're a supplier or a customer or both. You've also got the option to create groups, and you can also send mail via letter or email to the contacts. By ticking the contacts we want to send it to, we've got the option of letter and email at the bottom, where we just select the template. Now, the next option from within suppliers is the supplier invoice. On here we select who the supplier was, which nominal, and again we can provide a reference, the net value, and any additional details. Once I click OK, it will then create that invoice. Now, the next section, credit, is a method of balancing the account without the payment. So if we are generating an invoice that doesn't require payment, we can then balance it that way instead. Again, you just provide the net and any details. Now, further along from that, we've got payment, which is the supplier payment. From here I can select which account it's coming from, which supplier it's going to, and from there I can see a list of the previous transactions that have taken place. PC is for a credit and a PI is for the invoice. Now we can see the details of each and the amount. From above we can apply a check number, provide the date and the amount. Now we can also select where that payment's going to. For our order for the equipment, for the invoice, we can put that £50 payment towards it. By selecting save, we've recorded that payment taking place. Now below we've got products, and from within their categories. We can add new categories or edit existing ones from here. We've also got the stock in, which allows us to search for a stock at the top, or double click or select OK to record new stock coming in. You can apply a quantity and the cost for that quantity. We then have stock out, which again we can select and then provide a quantity that we've had go out of the practice. The next two are links to reports, our first being the sundry report. From within here I can click new in the top left and provide our date period. It will then show me a summary. Which items went out on which date, what was the quantity, and the value of it. Now I can change the report to show it by day or by a different period, and I can change it by to filter the product. We then have a graph, and we've got the Patients tab, which will let us track which patients have purchased those sundries. Now for the stock report, I can also select Report in the top left to provide my date period. Now when loading this up, there's no records involved. To record stock usage within the practice, we can select the additional options on the main menu. From within there, we've got stock usage. I can then select the location and the quantity of the stock used. Once I've added my stock, I just select Save. Now if we run that report again, we'll now see a list of the stock that we've used in the practice. We can view the location, the item, the product itself, and the quantity. And we can also filter by location and product at the top. We can print that screen off if we need to. And then back in our Accounts Basic, we've got the end of day. Now for the end of day, I can select our till. I can record the account it's coming from, the till, and which account it's going to go to. I'll see a list of all the payments within the till, and I can create a float and then select transfer. The same applies for our check, our card, and then the finance as well. Now the last option within here is the cash book. When selecting cash book, it will show us a list of all the transactions within the last cash book. I can see on the left that the last time it was run was on the 5th of October 2020 at 3:49. And those are all the payments within that cash book. It will show us the patient's names, the nominal, and also the type of transaction. Now to run the cash book, we select Process in the top left. It will give us a warning that this can't be undone. But then if we select Yes, it will complete and create a new entry on the left with our new cash book. To access the Accounts Full section, we need to go in via the tooth in the top left hand corner. By selecting Accounts Full, we'll then see the Accounts Full menu. The first option being Nominal. When selected, I'll see a list of all the nominals on screen, giving me the name, the type, the debit and the credit. I can select New to create a new nominal in the system, giving the details such as name, type and category. And I can also edit a nominal as well. I can select a nominal and then view the activity. By providing a date period, it will then show me all the activity within that nominal for the period. Give me the dates, the type, the details, and the deposit and payment. It'll give me the total in the top right. And I can print that and also export that to Excel should we need to. Now I can also export our nominals list to Excel as well. The next option at the top is the bank. This will then show me a list of all the bank accounts on the system. I can select New to create a new bank account, Edit to add an existing one, and then it'll show me a list of the name, the type of account, and the balance. I can then select Payment to record a bank payment. By selecting which account it's coming from and the nominal, I can then provide the reference, the date, and that net price. That will then update our account with that payment. We can select Supplier to record a supplier payment, again by selecting the account it's coming from, applying the amount, and you can provide a check number and date should you want to. Now I just need to make sure to allocate the amount to the invoice, and when selecting save, it will warn me if there's an unallocated amount as part of that payment. Once I've okayed that, it is now updated on the account section. I can then do a bank receipt, again selecting which account it's going to and which nominal. By providing the net and any additional details, once we've okayed that, again it will update our bank account. Now the transfer option allows us to move money from each account. I can select which account it's going from and which one it's going to. I can then record the amount and any details, and when I select OK, it transfers that money in the system. The tasks option at the top allows us to perform our end of day. I can select till to transfer the money to our bank account, and I can do the same with our check and credit card deposits. Now the next section, reporting, allows me to look at a few reports, including the payment and allocation report. I can then select the period of time I want to search for, and it'll give me a summary page of the practice, each performer, by scheme, and also type of payment, and it'll give me the totals for each and the totals at the bottom. We then have a transactions tab, which will show me all the transactions on screen, which can be filtered per performer. We have the payment and refunds tab, and we can view it by graph or by nominal. And then the system will record deleted payments and also discounts. Now this report can be printed and can be exported to Excel as well. The other reports available within the reporting button is the stock and sundries. The next option, products, will then show me all the current products on the system with the name and the quantity. I can select new to create a new product on the system. By entering an item code, a description, and then assigning the type, we can then provide a category and then the price if sold. When I select save, it will add that product to my list. Now I can click and edit a product, change any details if we need to, and we've also got an activity tab to show the activity of the item. We can print the list if we need to, and from here we can create or edit any categories on the system. We then have our stock in and stock out options. When I have a new item set up on the system, I can go to stock in, I can record the date the stock came in, the quantity, and the price that cost us. Once I've saved, you'll see it has updated our quantity for that item. The next option, suppliers. That'll then show me a list of all the supplier invoices and credits that we've recorded previously. By selecting accounts, I can create new supplier contacts, edit the existing ones, and I can also send emails and letters to them directly from here. We then have invoice for the supplier invoice, which again, I just select the supplier, the nominal, and fill in the details for the net. We then have supplier credit, and a feature we don't have in Accounts Basic is the batch invoice. By selecting the supplier, it'll automatically generate an invoice number, and then I can add in our invoices. Again, by selecting the nominal, adding the nets and descriptions, and click save on that to add that invoice. And you can add multiple invoices to this one supplier invoice. Once I'm happy with the details provided, I can then select Invoice at the bottom to post the invoice to the accounts. You'll then see the invoice has shown on screen. The next option along is the Payment, which is the supplier payment option. Again, I select which bank account it's coming from, to which supplier. I can provide a checking number and the date, and then the amount for the payment, which I then allocate against the invoice. When I select Save, it'll then reduce the invoice from that screen because we've now paid it. If we have put a payment on previously, we can also delete that off. And then the next option along for invoices is another method of doing that batch invoice. Now the last option on here is the purchase orders. For a purchase order, I can select New, select the supplier, and again add a product. I select my product and then provide a quantity and also the price. The system will then work out how much the net was for that order, and you can add multiple items to this one order if you want to. It'll give me the totals in the bottom right, and then I can save it. I can record the order. That will then update the status. And then I can edit the item to record that we've received it. When we select the receive, it'll update the quantity within the product and also change the status. The last option on there is to update it to post it to the accounts. It will update the status and you'll see a history of all the purchase orders on this screen. Now the last option on the main menu for the accounts file is the payment plans. This is a link to the payment plans report where we can see all the active payment plans on the system and we can reconcile any ongoing ones. Thank you for watching. If you've got any further questions regarding the accounts section, please feel free to contact us via our support number 0191 500 6789 or by email to info@sfd.co. If you prefer, you can also view our FAQ online help guides on our website.